You know, if there is anything that I've learned about life and people, it's that every single one of us is different. I bring this up because there are so many ways to live life. And there are so many people who are afraid to try something different than what they're currently doing. You know, and I totally get it. I've been there. But, you know, for example, this week, you know, I've read a lot about the carnivore diet, and yes, the parasites and all. I'm well aware of all of this stuff, okay? And I'm gonna go about it properly. I'm gonna make sure I'm washing my meat. I'm gonna make sure that, firstly, I drink Kangen water, so that's already a massive bonus because I'm gonna be flushing a lot of the toxins from the meat out of my system. I'm gonna energetically cleanse the meat so that I'm not absorbing the fear and all that kind of stuff. And yes, that is totally possible, and we can get into a conversation about that too if you want. I'm going to go about it properly. I'm going to do parasite detoxification and everything afterwards, but you know, there's just so many different diets to try as a human being, and who knows what your body's composition is actually going to respond to most efficiently and effectively. Like, you could go to, say, a DNA test company, and you could have your entire DNA laid out for you in front of you, and it'll show you, yeah, you're supposed to eat this and this and this and this, and these are the foods you should stick to and be away from, and you'll be amazing, and you might get great results by following whatever diet that provides you, or maybe you're more Ayurvedic and traditional, and you follow that and you feel amazing. But see, either way, you have to go into a new experience in order to discover the potential results of either of those modalities in order to follow the diet that comes along with it. You have to be willing to experience more life. And so, I've never tried the carnivore diet. I've done vegetarian, I've done vegan, I've done just regular Joe Schmo, eating whatever I wanted to, fast food and everything included. I don't eat that shit anymore at all. I haven't in years, actually, and I'm very proud to say that. That's why I bring it up. And I've never tried the carnivore diet. I've heard remarkable things, and I want to try it. I mean, why not? Why would I read all this stuff online and just allow myself to, yield to fear that because of the potential parasite problem or the potential whatever problem that I'm not going to be able to respond well to the carnivore diet? Well, what if I put the necessary precautions in place? And what if I do bless my food and raise the conscious vibration of the food before I eat it, which I do anyways? What if I do that with the meat? What if I apply all the spiritual techniques and all of the technologies that I have to make my meals the best that they possibly can be? What if I do that to my meat and I try the carnivore diet? I'm going to try it. I'm going to see how it feels for me. And if I don't like it, say after a couple of weeks, if I'm not feeling very good, well, then I'll change it up. You know? Well, I don't understand what the problem is with this kind of experimentation with your own life to see what suits you. Maybe the carnivore diet will be great for me for a year, and then my body will say, you know what, no, we're not good with this anymore. We need to go back to some more fruit, vegetable, and nuts kind of thing. And then change it up, throw some seeds in, you know? Have some yogurt, bud. But it all comes. Like, really, the only reason that people don't want to experience more life is because they're afraid of a potential outcome that they do not desire to occur. This is really what stops us from anything at all, is it's all our programmed fear. It's all a programmed perception. And this is exactly what all of this content that I create, every single thing that I do, is designed to take you into a place of love and willingness to experience more life and more expression and more freedom and more joy and more bliss, and actually live the life that you want to live and not be afraid to speak your mind and say the things that matter to you. Whether it's to your partner about something and you feel really strongly about it and you don't want to feel guilty about it, well, You got to speak your mind and stand your ground. Don't be a dickhead about it. You know, you don't have to be a total jackass about the things that you say or anything. But it's fine to stand your ground and to feel okay with believing in something, or to know something for yourself that maybe the other person doesn't know and doesn't agree with. You don't have to cave in to what everybody else might not understand or isn't willing to agree with you on, and that's totally okay. It's totally okay. And all the guilt and shame and all that crap that comes along with you making a decision that you felt good about, and then somebody says, well, yeah, did you consider this? And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I kind of feel like an idiot. Oh, I didn't consider that. Maybe this whole thing that I've decided to do is just totally inappropriate. Maybe I should completely shake the foundation on which I stand and allow myself to crumble into chaos, and then once again begin anew as somebody who was controlled by an external situation. If you're going to stand on something, stand on your decisions, regardless of what the consequences are. And I'm not saying you should go out and do horrible shit and play GTA out here in whatever way you want to and just stand on those kinds of choices. I'm saying if you're going to be a representative of freedom, you have to be willing to accept whatever consequences come with the decisions that you make. And if you are making the decisions out of that place of love, you're doing your very best every single time. You're trusting that you're making the decision in the moment out of the greatest possible set of choices that you are able to consider at your current level of existence. Well, then there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you can't really make mistakes if you take on this perception. And then, you know, people might twist that and they might say, well, what if you punch somebody in the face and they didn't need to be punched in the face? Or what if you do something really horrible? Well, then what? It's not about that. If you are truly following in the footsteps of the greatest spiritual teachers of all time, if you're truly walking in love and you're choosing through your heart and you're doing these things, well, the choices that you make naturally are going to align with what's in the highest and greatest good for everybody. And it's going to come with challenge. Absolutely, it's going to come with challenge, because not everybody's able to conceive of the depths at which you are possibly operating from. What's that saying? People can only meet you as deeply as they have met themselves, and there's not a truer statement, you know? There are many other true statements, but damn, that one's a doozy, because it's absolutely true. The people who are silent, you know, the people who are super respectful, the people who are super patient, the people who will tell you what you're doing is wrong, the people, it's just wild what people think that the spiritual path is, so to speak, and like calling it the spiritual path is wrong in its own right, because all of this is spirit. You're not having a spiritual journey, you're having a human experience as a spirit, right? And this is why I call myself a human experience guide, because your spirit, like, this is all spirit. This is all consciousness. Even these keys right here are consciousness. And if you want to take a moment and think real long and hard and meditate on something that's going to absolutely trip you out if you haven't considered this before, you can only perceive reality when you are aware, when you are conscious, when you are awake, right? Now, if you can only perceive reality through your senses when you are awake, and sure, maybe somebody pokes you when you're asleep and the body wakes up and then you realize that they're poking you, but guess what? You weren't awake, aware of them poking you until the body awoke and activated the ability to transmit your awareness back into reality, and then you noticed that it was happening, you see? So if the only way that you can experience reality is if you are awake, well, then that means that none of this exists without consciousness. Boom! And, you know, that sounds pretty simple. None of it can exist if you're not awake. Well, what do I mean by that, though? I mean this is real deep, man. I mean that Literally none of this entire universe is rendered for your personal experience until you wake up and activate the simulation, so to speak. And then as far as your senses are able to perceive, the rest of reality constructs itself in order for you to roam around inside of it. And there's a whole lot of conversation you can have about that. Well, what about other people's perceptions? What about this person over here across the street? They could tell me that they could see me right here even if I close my eyes. Well, guess what? The only way that you're going to be able to know that they see you all the way over there is if they somehow communicate to you in your line of consciousness and whatever sensory perception is available for them to communicate to you in. The only way that you're going to be able to receive the information potential of them saying, yes, I can see you, is if you are awake and aware of that information potential. Do you see what I'm saying? Like that person over there, I close my eyes, they don't exist anymore. They exist in my memory. But how can I possibly ever know that that person is actually over there still until I open my eyes again? Well, there could be somebody right beside me and they could say, yeah, that person is still there. But how do you know? How do I know that? You can't. This is the thing. And it's not about a matter of being able to trust the person beside you. It's a matter of reality no longer constructs that particular piece of itself for you when you shut off that sensory perception. Where was I going with this, man? I was talking about making decisions and experiencing life. If you want to break the chains, so to speak, if you want to be free, if you want to see the world change, if you want to live in a place that doesn't look like every other fucking place in your country, like I live in Canada, right? And I remember there was a time, this really shook me for a bit. See, I was doing commercial building maintenance, and one of the guys I was working with at the time, he actually used to be a professor, so, he was a fairly intelligent man, and a very perceptive man at that. And he really enjoyed philosophy and spirituality, if you want to call it that or whatever. And he hit me with quite a few ringers over the time that we worked together. But one of them that he said was, we were walking through a parking lot. We were actually in St. Catharines. And he stops me right in the middle of this parking lot. He says, look around. Okay, I look around. And then he asks me, if you didn't know where we just drove to, say that you closed your eyes for the entire ride, you didn't know that we were going to work here today, and I just drove to this spot and asked you where we were, would you be able to tell me where we were? And I said, absolutely not, because everywhere looks the same now. Which is just mind-blowing to actually think about it. Like this style of building, with all of the, you get those styles of buildings everywhere that have the Subways, the Shoppers Drug Marts, the pizzas, and all that stuff combined together, and I don't know how to describe it. It's, oh man, that'll bug me. But anyways, you know what I'm talking about, those plazas, they all look the same. And it just goes to show you that there's no more thought into the uniqueness of our environment anymore. This place could look so unique, regardless of if it's a Subway, regardless of if it's a pizza or a Shoppers or whatever. Why do the buildings all have to look the same everywhere you go? Sure, it's cost effective, but then you get into realizing that money is no object. Money is not real, man. It's so wild. Money is not real. I'm going to save that for another topic, but really what I'm trying to get to is, if we want to change the world and we want to build beautiful things and have such uniqueness to the places that we live again, well, the only way for us to do that is to come, whoa, a Cybertruck. I haven't seen one this close up yet. That is a strange looking vehicle. Huh. The only way that we're going to be able to come back to that place of creating uniqueness in the world is if you realize the uniqueness of who you are. Is if you're willing to experience more life, if you're willing to go out and accept life's challenges and accept life's consequences. And see, from that perspective as well, and another reason why I make all of this content is, and I'm still working on this myself, don't get me wrong, but I now have the tools available to me to correct myself when I have veered off course, or if I've said the wrong thing. Like, I'm well aware of everything that I've said throughout this video, and there's a few things, like even, for example, with the Cybertruck going by, instead of just witnessing that piece of existence go by, I decided to judge it and say it was strange. I'm well aware of when I'm making my own mistakes, So, don't need to be holding those, do I? So really, probably the main reason that I'm making this content is because I want to give people another way to perceive reality that isn't coming from a place of victimhood. One where you're inspired to go out and make a choice that's different from what you've been choosing lately. One that sparks a fire so deep within your spirit that forever, from this point on of the video, or from whenever you have interacted with me in whatever way, I want to inspire you, man, woman. I want to inspire you. I want to shake you by the shoulders and say, there is greatness inside of you. And we need it. So don't be selfish, God damn it. We need your art in the world. We need your voice. We need your perception to be shared. We need you to build beautiful homes. We need you to be the best plumber that's in the city. We need you to follow your heart and follow your passion. There is greatness inside of you. And to keep that greatness locked away because you're afraid, well, the choice is yours. But I'm telling you right now, I'm giving you the choice. If you like and subscribe to this channel, if you come and check out the Om Circle, you know what? Whoever, I don't care how many people, decides to comment on this video that they would like to join the Om Circle for a month, I will give it to you for free. Regularly, it's $55.55 a month. I will give it to you for free for a month so you can come and see what it's like to change the environment inside of your body, to awaken to a new perspective of reality where you're calm and you see that things outside of you don't actually affect you in the way that they used to, and you can navigate reality in a way that you're more level-headed, which means that you're more in line with the truth of reality, and you can more easily make decisions in your life, and you don't have that anxiety always coming up and interrupting your ability to move through reality the most effective way you can, and with the purpose that you actually want to move with, to stay motivated. And we do subconscious reprogramming in there too, the value of it is ridiculous. If it was to actually be properly charged for per month, it should be $275 or more. Without a doubt, that's how expensive it should be per month. But for accessibility, it's $55.55, and I'm giving everybody who comments on this video that they want to try the Om Circle, just put it somewhere in your comment, a month for free, so you can come and see what it is like. Not just to experience the community of the people who are going to be building the future way of humanity, but to experience just a different decision, to choose something else, to prove to yourself that you are worthy of walking that path towards your greatest potential, because that's what the Om Circle really is. Are you willing to choose that for yourself? Why would you not take a free month? What do you possibly have to lose? Well, like I know, though, at the same time, because I've been there, that the fear can feel overwhelming when you step into a new place. You know? Well, what if the people in there don't like me? What if they don't actually like me? You know, and then they talk behind my back when I leave, and what if I'm not accepted? And will I be able to be myself? I think a lot of crazy spiritual stuff. I don't know if they'll accept me in there. Trust me. We talk about everything there is. We have religious people in there who are ready to open up to, like, literally any kind of challenge about their religion, openly. You don't find that everywhere. Most people, they really like to stick to their beliefs, and that's final. We're looking to evolve in whatever way that comes about. You know? Everybody deserves that chance to be who they are. Regardless of what you've done in the past, if you are sincere in your heart, and you're ready to evolve into a better person, and you're ready to forgive yourself, and you're ready to apologize for the mistakes that you've made. Like I share on this channel, man, I open up about all kinds of stuff, and in the circle, I open up about so many things that I've done in my life where I've really fucked up. I share things that are so embarrassing for most people to say that I probably shouldn't say it. A lot of people say that you need to keep those kinds of things reserved, or people will not look at you in the world as if you want to be perceived. But I don't believe in that crap. I know that that's a lie. I know that I don't have to pretend to be something so people see me as whatever I want them to see me as. I want them to perceive the truth of who I am. And the truth is that I have been through these experiences, and I'm hoping to relate to people when I share my vulnerability. Not to seem like I'm some rock solid, never be fazed by anything kind of person, because that's just not the way it is. I go through things too. That 3 seconds. I love you. I hope you have a fantastic day.